Whoa.
Here we are. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Smack Talk. My name is WhattaDay Joe Lowry, as I am filling in for Rick and Sid, who are on assignment this week. But don't worry, folks. We have a great show lined up. Just to let you know, we gave Dutch Mantel the night off. And so my partner in crime tonight is the senior editor for Sportskeeda Wrestling, Mr. Bill Apter. Bill, how are you?
Well, I'm great. I mean, it's great to be here with you. You know, Joe, you and I have known each other for maybe 8 or 9 years, and we've never done this together.
I know. We've never done this together. This is crazy.
Yeah, what a day.
What a day is right. What a show. What a SmackDown we had tonight, huh? What'd you think
Yes,
of it
now,
overall?
by the way, well, I wanted to ask you first before that if fans want to interact with us and they want to get on guaranteed, tell them what to do.
Yep. What they're going to do is send in a super chat, right?
Yeah.
Send in a super chat. You can ask Hall of Fame wrestling journalist Bill Apter a question, send in a super chat, and we will go ahead and he'll answer them, right? Any question, wrestling related or non-wrestling?
Wrestling related or sparkling ice related, my favorite drink.
There you go. There you go. Well,
I'm out of Tic Tacs tonight.
You're out of Tic Tacs?
Yeah, Teddy Long, when we do our show with Teddy Long and Mac Davis, he calls them Tick Crack.
Oh God.
He does.
Really?
He does. He does.
Wow.
So, well, first of all, I have done this show before a few times in some emergency situations. So I want to welcome you here to Smack Talk. So what a SmackDown tonight. The last one, the final one on the CW.
That's right. That is, the last one on Fox.
On Fox, yes.
Fox, come on now.
If you were paying attention.
Yep, it's hard to believe that Fox paid $205 million for a 5-year deal. Do you think they got their money's worth? 2019 to 2024. What do you think, Bill? You think Fox got their money's worth for $205 million to show WWE?
Yeah. I wonder. Absolutely. But you know what really surprised me is that Fox let them go ahead and plug USA so much tonight that whatever show is going to be on Fox next week at the time that SmackDown was on doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, it's money, right? So obviously USA Network and WWE paid to have that promotion go on. They showed it a couple of times actually, so I was kind of impressed with that. And they did like a recap. They had a video package there of 2019 SmackDown all the way through COVID, all the way to 2024. And, 5 years seems like forever when you're on the air every week, so to speak. So that was a long run for SmackDown on Fox, but they return to the USA Network next Friday. I mean, USA Network's going to be the place to be, obviously, now until October 1st, because all of WWE programming will be on USA Network.
Well, it was very classy to see Michael Cole and Corey Graves wish a thank you to the Fox Network for having them on for so many years. Really.
Well, we get a comment here. Hello, Bill. Hey, what a day. Joe Myers tuning in. Thanks for tuning in there, baby cakes.
Yes, Joe Myers, one of our biggest fans, especially yours. I've been known as your mentor. She's your woman tour.
Yeah, she's my woman tour. You are my mentor, Bill. You've been great handling me, right? You're my handler. I could call you my wise man, right?
So you can do that. You can do that. I don't mind. So where are we going with SmackDown tonight? Let's go down.
We can just talk about it. We can get the fans involved. By the way, if you're tuning in right now, feel free to hit that like button, the subscribe button. It's free, folks. If you want to ask Hall of Fame wrestling journalist Bill Apter a question, go ahead to hit that super chat, and we will go ahead and Bill will answer that question for you. Well, I guess we could just kick it off like Fox did with Cody Rhodes. And we got a big to-do here as the Bloodline comes out, and Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu almost got a title shot. What did you think of that mix-up there with Solo and Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes?
Well, I don't think the fans necessarily want to see Solo against Cody Rhodes as much as they want to see the maniacal, the craze, the nutcase
Right.
Fatu against Cody, because I think with Jacob Fatu against Cody, there's more of a chance that Cody's title might be in danger. What kind of gets me is that Solo Sikoa, when he first started off in WWE, had those maniacal type of tendencies. And tonight, here he is in a suit, looking like a wonderful college kid, well-spoken, perfectly poised. And I just think that fear that he had about him for such a long time has cooled off quite a bit. And again, the fans really, they're afraid of Jacob Fatu. He's got all the ingredients of an old school bad guy, because when you were a kid, and I was a kid, and we went to the matches live or even saw it on TV, when the bad guy came out, we were afraid. There's very few of that. There's very few of that. Of the heels that can do that these days. But Jacob Fatu is absolutely an amazing bad guy. What do you think?
I think Jacob Fatu is obviously the next generation. He could quite possibly be the face of either SmackDown or Raw. Maybe not right now, but after this whole civil war between the Bloodline ends, which probably won't be for a while. But Jacob Fatu, championship material. He's a guy. Yes, Bill, when I used to go to the old Boston Garden, I used to watch those matches. I mean, when Morocco came out, George the Animal Steel, there was a heightened awareness when these guys' presence in the ring.
Now, wait. I want to interrupt you for a sec. You mentioned George the Animal Steel.
Yeah.
That's where Jacob Fatu is. He's that, he's that crazed character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you were afraid to go near these guys back in the day, you know, and Jacob Fatu has that vibe, definitely. And I could see that. It was really exposed tonight. The camera angles obviously helped tremendously, because we didn't have those angles back in the day. We had Bill Apter taking pictures at ringside, so I could read the magazine and still be scared of George the Animal Steel, Morocco, all the Bruiser Brody, that type of thing. So you're absolutely right, Jacob Fatu. And the end result, real quick, I'll show this, is what do we got here? Hold on here. Let me go. I just had it, but I do apologize.
Joe is also running the DJ board tonight.
Yeah, I'm doing it all tonight. I'm producing, and so bear with me, fans. I know you're out there watching. Derek, I see you in the house. Joe Myers, welcome. So we end up getting this next Friday night, undisputed WWE Championship match, steel cage, on the USA Network next week. What do you think of this, having a steel cage match for the title on the very first episode of SmackDown back on the USA?
I'm already waiting to see it. I think it's going to be great. And somehow, I don't know how, somehow Jacob Fatu is going to work his way into that cage. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen. But I think for the kickoff on the USA Network, which by the way has those long-reaching arms that are going to go all the way to NBC, and we should talk about that in a little while too. But I just think that the excitement of having this steel cage match is going to bring a huge audience, and I feel bad for Fox, because like I said, whatever they have in terms of programming, I don't know what they're going to be able to battle USA with.
I do believe that Fox is going to be premiering a new college type game day show on Friday night. That's what's going in that time slot. I've read that. I want to say I read that Brandon Thurston put that out there from WrestleNomics. He put out that's going to be like a Fox College, not like the one that Pat McAfee's on Saturdays, but something similar to that on a Friday night. So it'll definitely be sports related programming. But like I said at the beginning, $205 million for 5 years. Why on earth did they not keep WWE on Fox? Who knows? Fox has their own thing. The ratings. There was I forgot to put this on the screen, but there was a ratings chart from 2019 to 2024. They hit 3 million maybe once or twice in the early days. But other than that, it's been under 2 million viewers. I think that had a lot to do with it. I think Fox expected higher numbers, even with The Rock and the Bloodline later on. They just didn't get it. They just didn't get it. So whether it was a Friday night thing or should they switch nights, because that idea was floating around as well. Who knows? But as we know now, SmackDown is back on the USA Network starting next week, Friday the 13th, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. Well, can you just imagine if they did change it? Welcome to Friday Night SmackDown on Tuesday night.
There you go.
Wouldn't it work? But yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very good entree onto the USA Network, where they're both Raw and until Raw moves, of course, to Netflix, and that's going to be pretty amazing also.
Yeah, that's a whole nother ball game there. And like I said, for the next 2.5, 3 weeks, you'll have WWE programming on the USA Network, Raw, NXT, and then of course SmackDown. But October 1st, that all changes as the NXT goes to CW.
Yes.
And then of course we're going to have that transitional period where Raw and SmackDown will be on USA up until December 31st. And we do note that January 6th will be the premiere date for Raw on Netflix. So that's going to be very interesting.
Now,
that's not
with
far
Raw
off.
on Netflix.
What's that?
Raw on Netflix, just to go on with Raw on Netflix, just to kind of go on a sideline here, is that there are a lot of people, like I get my Netflix through Comcast. It's part of my triple play package, but there are a lot of people who don't get Netflix, that they're going to have to start paying for Netflix. Do you get Netflix?
We do and we don't. I do know that my fiance's son has it, and sometimes we use their password and all that stuff.
Joe's in trouble.
But here's the deal, though, with Netflix. 80% of the world, I'm talking about the world, around the globe, 80% have Netflix. So when the WWE moves to Netflix in January, Raw, it's no more the battle of the TV ratings. If Netflix has 289 million subscribers, which I think that is the number right now, they could say that WWE programming is available to over 289 million subscribers. So no more ratings, no more Monday Night Raw wars, the old days, no more checking, where did Raw finish? They're off the charts now. It's no longer TV cable for them. They're on a streaming platform. Their product is available worldwide. This is all part of Paul Levesque and Nick Khan's direction. They want to go, it's no longer just USA television programming. This thing is global. As we've seen.
It's getting
the battle.
Joe, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger. And I think, 10 years from now, when they're letting me out of the old age home, what we can do is say, whatever happened to TV? It's all streaming now.
Yeah, I mean,
so let's move on with more of SmackDown.
So we got a lot of viewers tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, hit that like button while you're here, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's free, by the way, so you want to keep that going. Okay, so here's another.
Joe, we have to remember that if you want a guaranteed spot with your comment, hit that super chat.
Yeah, hit that super chat if you want to ask Bill Apter a question. He will answer your questions tonight. That'd be greatly appreciated. One segment that's always interesting right here, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. What a combination this is. I get like a weird vibe when these two are together. They're trying to get them together. Tiffany Time obviously had a great match tonight against Bayley. But what do you think of Tiffany Time and the Nia Jax?
Wait, Joe, put that picture up again, please. I want to say that's some pair.
That's what?
I'm talking about Nia Jax and Tiffany, of course. But
right.
Next. Yeah.
So, yeah. But
a little levity there.
Yeah, there you go. But what do you think? I mean, she is a hell of an athlete. I don't know how that popped up there. But she's a hell of an athlete. I was very, very impressed by her match tonight with Bayley. Those two matched perfectly. Up until the Bloodline match, the main event, I had Bayley and Tiffany Stratton as the match of the night. These two went at it. It was very physical. Some of the moves they did, the kick, the mule kick that she gave Bayley outside on the ring apron was something else. As they went off the air, they showed it in slow motion. And boy, did Bayley take a bump on that one. What did you think of that, Bill?
I thought the whole match was incredibly well done. It's great to see Bayley back in action again.
Yeah,
Everybody thought, we'd seen the end of her. I'm glad she's back. I've noticed since she was in the indie feds.
sure.
But what intrigues me here now
Yeah,
is that, as you know, she's got the money in the bank. Tiffy's got the money in the bank
yeah.
case there. And everybody said, "Oh no, 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 no! I'm not going to cash in on you, Nia Jax. I'm not going to cash in on you." But tonight, it was kind of like payback for last week's. What is she doing?
Yeah, there's
Moment.
a
So
yeah.
I think we are going to see um, Tiffy and Nia Jax finally split. I think Tiffy's going to attack her with the briefcase.
Do you think that'll be a bad blood match in October for these two? You think
Yeah,
they'll
I think that would be a natural match for
yeah,
that, or they tease it for long enough for the Survivor Series.
right. Well, the only downside tonight was that Bailey actually got the win over Tiffany Stratton. So I don't know if that lowers the category of, who's the number one contender, that type of deal.
No, 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 I don't think it does because
Okay.
there was a distraction by Nia Jax.
That's true. That
So
is true.
that's
So I mean, so there's that odd combination there, but nonetheless, weird chemistry between them two. So speaking of weird chemistry, Waller and Theory, A-Town Down Under, they seem to be getting a lot of TV time on SmackDown the last couple of weeks, especially with that Waller cam that he had that night in the ring and so forth when Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens were in there. A lot of TV time for Austin Theory and Grace Waller. Is that his name? Yeah, Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller, yes.
Yeah. So they had a lot of TV. What do you think of that combination? I mean, they have weird chemistry too because they're questionable. Are these two meant to be together, or is there a split coming with A-Town Down Under?
Well, first of all, the Austin Theory that we are seeing is not on the level that Austin Theory was at when where is he? When this guy was still in charge.
That guy.
I want to see Austin's Theory back in the lineup of championship matches. I want to see him back as a single wrestler. I think that that he and Grayson Waller were good as a tag team, but
Yes,
that split's got to happen. They got to put them in a match against each other, just
Right.
one-on-one. That's going to happen. And I want to see Theory just go back off on his own. And Grayson Waller is a hell of a competitor. He's
Right.
really good. And if he somewhere down the line turns babyface, I think we'd have a great character that the fans could really go for in him.
Yeah.
Austin Theory's an incredible heel, and he's not being used the way they should use him, in my opinion. I think once again he should
agree.
be on the singles ratings right now, and yeah. So yeah, I see a breakup now. Talking about that match.
Yeah,
Talking
sure.
about that match.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
Oh boy.
In the newsletter that we do, when Joe, you do your rant.
I rant.
Kevin Owens. My rant is a positive rant that Kevin Owens is just incredible. It looks like this guy is shooting. It looks like this guy is doing everything for real.
Yeah.
His punches, everything are so right there, right on.
I agree. I totally agree on that.
But it devalued Waller, not Lawler, Waller, and yeah, and so
I agree. I
I
agree. Yeah, we got something in here. It looks like Joe Myers, $5 in the super chat. She looks like she has a question for Hall of Fame wrestling journalist Bill Apter. Joe Myers asks, when Roman returns, do you think he'll be a babyface for the remainder of his career? And she does note that Roman is her favorite wrestler. What do you think of that? Babyface for the remainder of his career?
I don't know if it'll be for the remainder of his career. You cannot overlook the fact that even as a heel, he is the most over wrestler in the company completely. Right. He does all these amazing personal appearances. He did a big thing with Paul Heyman this weekend. But to answer your question directly, Joe, it's hard to tell. I think he's going to go babyface for a while, but then again, if they put him against Cody again to try and get the title back, that could change things. Or that's when the American Nightmare goes heel and shocks everybody. What do you think, Joe?
I think that, well, it's funny. I put out a short on my YouTube channel, WhattaDay at Ringside. If you check it out, I think it was 2 days ago that Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns appeared on Bloomberg, the Power Players show.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
And the host of that show asked Roman Reigns, and I put this on my short, do you prefer to be a babyface or a heel? And Roman Reigns says he wants to be a heel. So he likes the heel character better. Yes, it's easier. He likes that. But Roman Reigns, heel or not heel, he takes it to a whole nother level when he's being booed and so forth. I mean, you look at Dominic. I hate to bring Dominic and Liv Morgan up, but when Dominic gets in the ring, they won't let him speak. If you recall, when Roman Reigns would come in and do the Acknowledge Me segment, he got the same type of heat. Yeah. So, Joe Myers, thank you for the $5 super chat. If anybody
keep in mind, keep this in mind. Okay. Sometimes the fans can make the situation change. Classic was The Rock against Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, who's right behind me here, by the way. You can see him. But the classic thing where everybody thought Rock was going to be the babyface, and at the beginning of the match, they were cheering Hogan. So if the fans are cheering Roman Reigns, even if he's a heel, nothing wrong with it.
Nothing. All right, moving on here because SmackDown was packed tonight. What did you think about Giovanni Vinci and his debut? 3-second match with Apollo Crews. And I'm trying to figure out this angle. I don't know who produced this segment. Kind of genius, though, because we got all the video packages. We get all the hype, and Giovanni makes his debut, only to, take off his jacket. The bell rings. Apollo pins him in 3 seconds. What's that segment all about?
First of all, I'm glad to see that Apollo Crews finally has won something singly. It's been a while. He is so undervalued. He really is underrated. With Vinci, it's amazing because, as you know, he was part of Imperium. They didn't even bring that up tonight, and he looks totally different. He kind of looks like Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, I think that's the vibe they were trying to get at a little bit. Yes, I agree.
But they did so much hype on this guy, and then to have him lose in 3 seconds. I don't want to sound like Vince Russo, but bro, what the heck are they doing with him?
I mean, it
was a real shock that they had that go in 3 seconds. I hope they're doing this to elevate Apollo Crews.
Yeah, they probably will. I'm sure they're going to have a rematch. I'm sure next week's Friday Night SmackDown on the USA, their debut is going to be packed because we already know a couple of matches for that. Moving on, I think this was my second match of the night. I think I do believe have a photo of this. And Chelsea Green finally gets a win on SmackDown with the help, of course, Piper Niven there. Chelsea Green, to me, I was talking with my fiance, Joanne, during this match. She is a great wrestler. She could take a bump. We saw that at Money in the Bank and so forth. We've seen it throughout her career. But she's been in these segments on SmackDown and even on USA where she takes the pin real quick with people. Tonight, she was in the ring the longest that I have seen her wrestle in outside of Money in the Bank. But for a TV match, this match against Minchin was very well put on. And Chelsea Green and Minchin, I had this almost right up there with the other women's match, Tiffany Stratton with Bayley. So what'd you think of that?
Chelsea I agree with you. They were evenly matched. And I think Chelsea Green has finally really come into her own. I think she's a very compelling character. And I want to see more from her.
Yeah, Chelsea Green, love her style, love her. She's got a great character. One thing I did notice, Alicia Taylor, the SmackDown ring announcer, did not do what Samantha Irvin does when she gets introduced. usually Samantha Irvin goes Chelsea Green.
Yeah, this is different.
Alicia Taylor didn't do that. She said Chelsea Green, like a vicious, psycho and all that, or whatever you want to call it.
It's her own style.
Yeah, it's her own style. And I know there was some background with that when Vince McMahon was in charge. He didn't like that when Chelsea Green was being announced like that. So, but they do it on Raw, yeah, there he is, the big guy. But they do it, outside of Alicia Taylor, Samantha Irvin does it the best. I thought it was a great win for
she's
Chelsea.
amazing. She's an amazing ring announcer. It's amazing how things have changed where it used to be all male ring announcers, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
From the great days of Jimmy Lennon Sr. to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to Michael Buffer. Now it's a ladies' game. Isn't it terrific?
Yep. It's actually the women's actually had 2 great matches tonight on SmackDown. Long matches, too, which was great. They had a lot of exposure. Honestly, I'm going through my notes here, and I have to say, for the last SmackDown on Fox, this show was jumping. No doubt about it.
Richard just mentioned the Fink. I'm sorry I left him out. Go ahead.
Oh, the Fink. There he goes. The Finkster. Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame ring announcer. I miss that guy. I love him. And new KO Kevin Owens against the A-Town Down Under. The table spot was unbelievable. And how about that stunner? That sell by Austin Theory was off the charts.
It was that entire match. First of all, I thought the split up between Austin Theory and Waller was going to happen during that match. It's going to it. It didn't happen up there. But like I said, Kevin Owens sold everything and did everything so perfectly well here. He's like renewed in my eyes. I can't wait to see the guy.
He is renewed, but he's also been vocal that his contract is nearing the end, and he has not.
They're not going to let him go.
I know they won't let him go, but that thing, Oh, we got Joe. We forgot another one, Bill. Lillian Garcia.
Yes, yeah.
He inspired many women who want to be in that ring and the title belt and so forth. Those intros and finishes, unbelievable. So moving on, LA Knight, who I think is just, this is his reward.
Wait, say that right, Joe. Say that right.
LA Knight.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. LA Knight's getting his reward because I got to tell you, I mentioned this on the other Sportskeeda wrestling shows since WrestleMania. He was on that jet plane. He was going places until WrestleMania season hit, and then it was The Rock and Cody, and he kind of took a back seat because, he carried the show before Cody took over SmackDown. So LA Knight's reward, of course, is the U.S. Championship. I think he's going to hold that title for a while. I knew exactly when Carmelo Hayes and Andrade stepped in the ring. They're tied up 2-2. The winner of that match, I do believe they're fighting next week. The winner of that match gets the title shot against LA Knight. What do you think of LA Knight's status now in the WWE? I mean, he's just going.
Do you think that Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, and not taking anything away from either of them, are strong enough billboard opponents for LA Knight?
Do I think they're strong enough? I would think out of the two, Carmelo and Andrade, I'd give it Andrade. Andrade's got the experience. Carmelo, I know, just got drafted to SmackDown, #1 draft pick. We're reminded of that almost weekly. But Carmelo Hayes, a fellow Bostonian like me, 2 great competitors. Their matches, it'll be decided next week. But I got to give the edge to Andrade only because of based on experience. I think he'll match up very well against LA Knight. But I'm not writing this stuff, so who knows? They could be going another direction.
You know what I want to see? I want to go back to old school when they have champion against champion. I think they need to have LA Knight come out one night and say, you know what? Cody is the undisputed champion. Right. Well, I'm disputing it.
There you go.
What?
What?
What a day, yeah.
Wouldn't you like to see there's a comment of the year right there. So you're looking for an LA Knight Cody Rhodes angle down the line?
I would love to see that, maybe to drag it out to WrestleMania, but I would love to see that where LA Knight says that it's undisputed. No one's disputing it, but I'm disputing it. I'm the champion of the United States, but I want to be an undisputed and a match with he and Cody against each other, a billboard match like that Man, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a hell of a match. Definitely something to look forward to. That'd be a great angle. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, Cody's wrapped up in that bloodline stuff. So, and I think that's going to be the case for a while. So they're going to feed LA Knight, whoever they can. And it almost reminds me of when Backlund was champion, Bob Backlund, and Pedro was the Intercontinental champion.
Yep.
Whatever was fed the champion afterwards went down to face the Intercontinental champion. I get that kind of vibe with Cody and LA Knight. So that could be something that we're, because don't forget, Triple H is running the show now. Paul Levesque, he's my age. He grew up in that era too. So he kind of, I get that vibe from him. Bill, I honestly get that vibe that he's going kind of old school, but updated. You know what I mean?
He's an old school guy in a new school world, and he balances it perfectly.
Yeah, he does a great job with that. So, hey, who knows? LA Knight.
But I just don't know. I just don't know. Carmelo and Andrade on a show against LA Knight to me would be the semifinal match. It wouldn't be the main event.
Right, exactly. It's always like, we have a super chat question here, Bill, for you.
Roland
Curtis, thank you very much. $4.99. Appreciate that. He's got a nice little comment here. Bruce Buffer, Michael Buffer's brother, is the ring announcer for UFC. Bruce Buffer is great. His question for you, Bill, is what did you guys think of the Mr. McMahon Netflix trailer?
Well, first of all, I think Bruce Buffer is Michael's son. I don't think it's his brother.
I'm not sure about that. I just know that.
We're going to need to look that up. But I knew Michael Buffer very well. Let's get ready to rumble. I mean, he was great. So the McMahon Netflix trailer, I loved it. I think, what the negative part, the great part is a zillion people are going to tune into it. The negative part about this piece is that if people see the negative side of him, a lot of non-wrestling fans are going to wonder, is this guy still running the WWE? And they're not going to want to watch it because, this guy, they might just think they don't want any part of him.
Sure.
So I don't know. They've got to make it clear that he's no longer part of the organization.
Yeah, I do believe they cover it right up to when everything went down in that January, because they were a part of this movie with these guys that directed and produced it, but they separated themselves, I think, right before everything went down and before TKO took over and so forth, because this thing was on the shelf for a while, and then all of a sudden they said they were going to finish it, and they did finish it. So the trailer looked like any Vince McMahon production to me, in my eyes. I don't know if it's going to be a fluff piece. The timing of
I'm told by some insiders that I know that worked on production here, there's no fluff. Some of the wrestlers that are on it, of course, are going to say, and they should be saying it, that they wouldn't have the career they had in that company without him. You can't take that away from that guy.
No, I totally understand
that company. He made that company. It's the outside things that went on behind the scenes that everyone's talked to. And you know what? If it was just a nice piece on Mr. McMahon or anybody else, it's not going to grab an audience like this is going to grab an audience.
Agree. Roland Curtis, thank you very much. And guys, don't forget, if you want to ask Bill Apter, Hall of Fame wrestling journalist, a question, hit that super chat and we will answer them directly on the air. I know we get sidetracked here, so we just talked about
SmackDown. Back to SmackDown.
Right. Of course, Chelsea Green, the big win over Minchin we discussed. But all right, let's talk about the main event. This is a crazy main event. 8-man tag match, DIY Street Profits taking on the Bloodline. That suplex by Tommaso Ciampa was just
off the charts. That was amazing.
I mean, the camera angles for everything on that one was just impressive. Like I said, this was a stacked show. This show was packed. And every one of the best SmackDowns I've watched in a while. And of course, they're going out with a bang on Fox Network. And finally, did you notice towards the end, we get the notorious censorship as the crowd started chanting, we had a good 25, 30 seconds of silence during the match.
Oh, yeah. You know what? The hardest job, and by the way, Roland Curtis, Bruce Buffer, is Michael Buffer's junior brother by 12 years. Thank you. I thought it was his son.
Thank you, Roland. Appreciate that.
So the hardest job, and I'm sure the guy every week on the Fox network is now like, wow, I don't have to do this anymore. When they start yelling out, holy SH, holy, he could be a thumb wrestling champion. His thumbs are so yeah, but oh yeah, I mean, the fans went crazy, and some of the spots in there were, and again, Jacob, to me, the star of that match was Jacob Fatu. I couldn't get enough of him.
Yeah, the athleticism of Jacob Fatu keeps coming out week after week. I know he just came back from the angle where he hurt he was in a walking boot for a while. But even when he was in the boot a couple of weeks ago, he was jumping around in that ring like it was nothing, like it was part of his character.
Yeah.
Like I said, main event, 8-man tag match. They went out with a huge bang, and of course, the Bloodline got the win and so forth. Where do we go from here? SmackDown leaves Fox. They go to USA. Next week is a packed. Obviously, this will probably be the main event right here. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa in the steel cage for the title. I know you mentioned at the beginning this might be a Jacob Fatu coming out party as well. But I have a very strong feeling we're going to see the real tribal chief in Roman Reigns. I love saying it like that, Roman Reigns.
I do too.
I think we're going to get an appearance by him, and I think USA Network is going to get some serious ratings because they average 2.5 million viewers a week on Fox. They're switching over to USA. Less households, I'm hearing, but you never know.
But the reach is much bigger because they're tied in with the whole NBC family.
Right, NBC Universal. So Peacock will most likely grab that. So it's been 5 years. They've been on Fox. They started in 2019. I do believe the actual date was October 4th, 2019. Michael Cole and Corey Graves were the announcers for that show. And how ironic that tonight, Michael Cole and Corey Graves finish it off on the Fox network. That was kind of a cute little segue there when I watched that. So what do you think? USA will now get Fox. Bill, my question for you is, what do you think is with the USA, with Fox going on USA, what do you think the ratings in the show is going to be like? Is it going to be a different vibe than it was on Fox, you think?
Oh, it's going to be blown just like crazy next week, especially with that main event. And the publicity that they were giving to it on Fox tonight. They kept going on and on and on every few minutes, plugging the USA Network.
Yeah, they were. And they must have paid some money for that. They had to have paid some money. I do believe that.
I don't know. I don't know. It's their deal. It's their deal.
Yeah, I think what they.
Joe, I lost you for a minute there. You still there?
You look like you froze. I'm here. Are you there? Can you hear me, Bill? Bill, are you there?
Yeah, you look like you froze. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can all hear you.
Hello, Bro Joe. All right.
It looks like a lot of Roman Reigns fans in the chat. I think definitely that Roman Reigns does return next week. Whether or not it happens during that, I mean, you got to think about it. We got a steel cage match. That's the main event. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa next week on SmackDown. Most likely that'll be the end match. So we'll get that around, 20 of the hour, quarter of the hour. Do you think?
Or they open with it. Or they open with it.
I mean, that'd be something else as well, because you'll have to have a beginning and an end for that. So if they open with the steel cage match, you're going to have to segue into a bigger main event. So like I said, good idea.
It'll be
Yep, you do that first.
It'll be Jacob Fatu against somebody.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns, if he makes the appearance, he's got to be out there for a couple of segments, because when he comes, you really want to have this show must-see TV. So I think the teasers will probably start around Tuesday or Wednesday. Tribal Chief, they'll get the social media thing going where they will definitely, get the Roman Reigns thing, the Roman Reigns train going for SmackDown. My wild card for SmackDown next week, I think we get the return of Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte. I think she's been cleared. I think she's been quiet. I think we get that. I think we'll get a Charlotte Flair sighting next week. That's my wild card.
I'd like to see that because in her social media, you see her working out like a mad lady, not a madman, a mad lady, day and night. So yeah, she's probably ready, and I want to see who she comes back. What's her role? Is she a baby face? Is she a heel? Who's she looking at?
I don't know. I think she comes back, and there might be the Nia Jax reunite. I think she might go after Nia Jax. Don't forget, she's like 1 or 2 wins away from. I think she's actually 1 win away from tying her father's career numbers. Mm-hmm. So that's something you might want to see there. Okay, looks like we get another super chat rolling. Another $4.99 donation. Thank you very much, Roland Curtis. Question for Bill Apter is, when do you guys think that we'll see The Rock versus Roman? Initially, we were getting babyface Rock versus heel Roman, but now it's reversed. Which is better? Mr. Bill Apter, that question is for you. I'll answer it after you.
It doesn't matter which one is better. I would hope that we would see that no later than January, maybe Royal Rumble time.
Oh, okay. You think, yeah,
that's my answer. I don't think it'll happen in November, but I think for the PLE.
From what I've heard, The Rock, he's even mentioned it that after August, which is now, his schedule is much lighter. He is making a return. You know, I said it during the pre and post SummerSlam shows on Sportskeeda with Afa Anoa'i Jr. I said it then. I go, SummerSlam to me is the unofficial start of WrestleMania season. I know people talk about it during Survivor Series, but WrestleMania is always the big buildup, and I think it starts right around SummerSlam time. Storylines end, storylines develop. It carries on through Bad Blood, and then, and of course, Survivor Series, and then we segue into the Royal Rumble. So I think SummerSlam is, technically the unofficial start. I think Rock versus Roman sounds like a good idea for the Rumble, because that'll segue who the real tribal chief is for the main event at WrestleMania. So Roland Curtis,
you mentioned The Rock. So I'm going to ask you something that I asked a lot of people.
Sure.
Toward the end of the year here, we're going to give away the second Bill Apter Legacy Award. The first one was given to The Undertaker.
Okay.
Now, you just mentioned The Rock and people on the Time Machine and on Unscripted. We've talked about who we should give the Legacy Award to once a year.
Sure.
Out of a whole field of legends, of people who don't compete full time now, and it could be someone behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. Who would you ideally pick for the award, the Legacy Award?
That's a good one. The Legacy Award. You think of The Rock, you think of things like that. Right now, for Legacy, that's a tough question, Bill, because the WWE likes surprises. They pull wrestlers that were popular, and then they bring them back into the limelight. The Undertaker, obviously not wrestling anymore, he ends up getting the Legacy Award. To me, The Rock is the biggest standout right now.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
That's all. That's what comes to mind. Usually, you trust your gut. That's what I think. That's what I feel. And most likely, Legacy Award will go to The Rock, because what he's done for the company is just absolutely amazing.
Sure.
The Rock is in his own universe, so to speak.
Yeah.
So right here, Joe Myers, all I know is when Roman meets The Rock in the ring, we're getting Chinese takeout so we can smell what The Rock is cooking.
Oh my God, that's great. So you can smell what The Rock is cooking. That's great. Hey, Joe, I want to cheat. I want to cheat on something here.
What do you got?
Tomorrow night, if you're watching this live, it's 11:51 Eastern Standard Time, PM. Tomorrow night, I did an interview the other day with Willow Nightingale from AEW. Yes. What a sweetheart. What an absolute sweetheart. You can find that interview on Wrestle Binge.
Okay.
Roland Curtis, Vince
Roland,
McMahon for the Legacy Award.
there you go. $1.99. Roland, thank you very much. Vincent McMahon.
The only man here who makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You're fired. But, you're fired.
I want to cheat. Here.
You're going to cheat. Okay. Roland Curtis, thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. Go ahead, Bill. What are we cheating on now?
Several super chats from Roland.
Oh, okay.
Several of the matches for All Out that will be on pay-per-view, AEW, tomorrow night, the 7th of September.
Sure.
I know you know what the matches are. I know you're a student of this whole thing. Oh, yeah. Why don't we do our picks for that thing?
Okay.
For that show. It's coming from Chicago.
So we're doing a sneak attack here on Smack Talk. We're going to switch gears. Hey, by the way, folks, tonight was a red hot night for sporting events. You had the NFL on in Brazil. You had WWE Raw.
Won?
SmackDown. I don't know. I don't know. I was watching SmackDown. They might still be on for all I know. If somebody knows what the score is, please put it in the chat. We'll put it up there. But you had the Packers playing tonight. You had SmackDown on Fox, and then you had a 3-hour live collision over on, I think it was TBS or TNT, one of those stations. Yeah. So you had 3 powerhouse events going on. This is probably why SmackDown was packed tonight.
Or we're here.
And we're here. We follow the great show of SmackDown. But yes, AEW All Out card is packed. And I don't mean to say that because the first one that comes to mind is the International Championship. Will Ospreay versus Pac. This match will be off the charts because we know these two are no strangers in the ring together. We got a glimpse of it on Dynamite. So what do you think about that one, Bill?
I think it's going to be what they call these days a 50-50 match.
Ooh,
I think they are equally matched.
Yeah.
They are equally matched. I have liked Pac since I first saw him in England many, many years ago. But I do think that Will Ospreay is going to emerge victorious. What about you?
I agree. I think Will Ospreay versus Pac. Will Ospreay just won the International Championship, so I don't see him the title. I see this. I don't think there's a clear winner in this one. I think they're gonna work on this feud for a while. I do too. They're gonna put on a 10-star match. And I think there might be some outside interference. Maybe Pac and his crew might be doing something dirty. I don't see a clear winner. If we get a clear winner, that's fine. But I can see these two main eventing the next one. So I don't know. You tell me. So you picking Will Ospreay?
No, I think Pac is going to lose, and he's going to dispute it, and they're going to have a second match and maybe a third.
The other one that's listed, the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, the Young Bucks versus Blackpool Combat Club. Obviously, we know that's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. They were battling this past week on Dynamite. Another great match that we have. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I don't think the Bucks are going to retain their title this time.
Ooh,
I think they're going.
The EVPs are going to drop the title, huh?
Yeah. Just my prediction.
All right. So moving on, we have the AEW Continental 4-way match. I have Okada versus To Be Determined. Do we know the rest of the people that are involved in that match?
I don't off the top of my head.
Was Collision part of that tonight? I think Collision might have had some matches tonight.
I believe so.
We're going to determine that. Real quick, Roland Curtis with $1.99. Doesn't Vince deserve a lifetime? Yeah, we just talked about that. Right?
Yeah, Roland, he deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award for what he's done in wrestling. But unfortunately, the things that have happened recently kind of takes the luster out of people wanting to give him that.
Yeah. So, and we have another one, Joe Myers, $5. Bill, your Eagles are leading the Packers at the end of the third quarter.
I'm not a football person. When my wife and I moved here from New York to Philadelphia 31 years ago, somebody offered me
Wow.
Somebody offered me Eagles tickets. Do you know what I said?
What?
I said I've seen them in concert 5 times next to the Bee Gees, and I wasn't kidding.
Did you take it easy?
I didn't know.
Did you take it easy?
Huh? Take it easy. Got my singing machine right behind us here.
Here's a match that you probably are very familiar with, the Chicago Street Fight for the CMLL World Women's Championship. your girl Willow Nightingale, which you just interviewed, and that's dropping tomorrow, correct? On
No, it's
WrestleMania?
already
Up.
it's already on Wrestle Binge.
Okay, and Willow Nightingale is taking on Chris Statlander. These two no strangers to the ring. I think this is going to be a very competitive match. I think Chris Statlander gets the win here. I think the title.
It's a Chicago street fight.
Yeah.
There's no competitive in a Chicago street fight. It's just kick tookuses.
Kick tookuses.
That's it. Yes.
I think I think the street fight is, I see CMLL and I think CM Punk. And it's in Chicago.
I do too. No, I think
a CM Punk chant's going to break out. You know that, right?
I think that no, they don't want to hear that name in AEW. But I definitely do think that Willow Nightingale is going to win.
Yeah, you think Willow? All right, I'll take. I will take definitely Chris Statlander. Here's another match that they determined really good on Dynamite the other night. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, taking on his former pal Daniel Garcia.
Oh, I have never seen Daniel Garcia this
over
PO'd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pissed off.
Never seen what his interview level has gone up. His ring fierceness has gone up.
Yeah.
And I think MJF is going to win somehow, but it's going to be far from over.
Yeah, it's going to be far from over. I think these guys will go on. The TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné, the CEO versus Hikaru Shida. I feel like I've seen this match before. I don't know if for some reason. Didn't they wrestle already on Dynamite a few weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago? My thoughts, first of all, on Mercedes Moné, I'm going to be honest here, folks. I love AEW. I just don't think that it's working for AEW with the CEO moniker with Mercedes Moné. She has a lot of creative freedom over there. I know she's enjoying her time. I appreciate Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. I love her. She's a Bostonian as well. I just think the character that she's having on AEW doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Fans have. I think I did a rant about this on the Sportskeeda newsletter. Bill Apter,
you did
subscribe for free. We drop that every Wednesday via email. Go to sportskeeda.com/newsletters to grab that, to sign up for that. It's free, no spam, all that stuff. You get a nice little newsletter delivered to your inbox every Wednesday.
It's like a mini magazine.
It's like a mini, yeah. It's like reading the old magazines, Bill. I love it. I love looking forward to it. It's great that the WhattaDay rants in there, so that's cool. But getting Mercedes Moné, I think I think the CEO is a big bust. I think she needs to switch gears here.
I think that was Tiffany Stratton, but no, I'm not allowed to say that. But anyway.
But the TBS Championship, they're treating that more important than the AEW Women's World Championship to me. I think that drives me crazy because it's just a showcase belt, TBS, and they're on TNT half the time. So what do you think? Who's going to take the win on this, Moné or Shida? I kind of already know.
Moné. Yeah. And somehow the Jacksons, the Young Bucks are going to be part of that.
Oh, okay. All right. So
she's in their pocket.
Yeah. I agree. And $5 million for what, 5 years? And she's already said she has so much creative control. She has ownership of her character and so forth, which is fine to a degree. But if something's not working, that needs to be addressed. I kind of feel that's what's going on. But moving on, the AEW World Championship, Bryan Danielson, who won it just last month, takes on Jack Perry, the world title. What do you think?
Jack Perry is going to lose this match because his temper is going to fire up too much. He's going to be much too. It's the title is not going to matter to him at all. It's just going to be how he's going to go cuckoo and get disqualified.
Cuckoo. So you don't see a clear winner in this? You see something crazy happening?
Yeah. I said Danielson possibly by disqualification or putting him in the label lock and finally winning.
Yeah, I see a chair shot happening here. I think someone's getting a chair shot because they did a lot of that. Joe Myers is spending some serious money here. Another super chat, $5. Thank you, Joe. Bill, will you be appearing at any smoky little lounges singing Can't Smile Without You anytime soon? Barry Manilow.
Only if you're there, Joe.
Oh, there you go.
I will be getting an award and co-hosting with Mac Davis at the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame in Albany, New York. Look that up online, everybody. And I always seem to somehow sing that song to the whole crowd.
Yes, you do. So I have great videos of that from years ago. You entertained the crowd. You had your Bill Apter book tour. I've seen the videos. I love it. When we were together a few years ago, you were singing it too. So the Burnt Pizza Tour. Yeah. So that was good stuff. Thank you, Joe Myers, $5. Again, folks, if you want to ask Hall of Fame wrestling journalist Bill Apter a question, hit the super chat button, take a donation, and he'll answer the question.
Or a song.
Or a song. That's right. All right. Last match. This feud is unbelievable. I mean, it's taken to another level. Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page. They're calling this an unsanctioned lights out steel cage match. I thought it was just a regular steel cage match, but now it's unsanctioned, which means nobody is responsible for, the beatings that go on. But lights out? Are the lights really going to be out here? What are we doing with this?
No. Lights out means knocked out. When I was a kid, but I in my head, when I heard that, I heard Gordon Soley, the late great. Well, indeed, this will be a lights out steel cage match. It's got that whole old school, but that whole thing with Hangman Page allegedly burning down the house.
I did a post on that.
They planted this so beautifully because for 2 weeks they kept talking about Swerve Strickland getting the house that he grew up in back.
I wondered why that video dropped on Wednesday. I was like, this is interesting. So looks like Roland Curtis spending money just like everybody else here. $1.99. Thank you very much, Roland. Who is the GOAT of pro wrestling in your opinion? Bill Apter, who's the GOAT? Greatest of all time. I do believe that's what he means.
Oh, it goes by, Roland, it's a great question, but it goes by generation. It really does. It goes by Bruno Sammartino. It goes by Ric Flair. It goes by Dory Funk Jr. It goes
Harley
by
Race.
Hogan, Bret Hart, Harley Race. Yeah, it's all generational, Roland.
So here's a question. We'll double back this one for Roland. Right now, this generation, Bill, who do you think the GOAT in pro wrestling is right now?
Well, I'm a wrestling reporter. I can't really.
You can't reveal that?
I can't do that. But does it have to be a wrestler?
Well, that's what he's asking. Pro wrestling. Well, yeah. I mean, you could go to.
Could it be, Triple H for what he's doing with the WWE?
I can tell you that the short that I put up yesterday had the Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman on Bloomberg. They asked him. They asked for a quote from Roman Reigns. What do you think of John Cena calling you, Roman Reigns, the GOAT of professional wrestling? And he just says, he was pretty modest about it, but he says, I'll take it if he's saying it. So he's acknowledging, no pun intended, that he is, John Cena's opinion, the GOAT of professional wrestling.
Let's not ignore The Rock.
The Rock.
What he brought to this business.
Oh yeah. That's when you get that's when you could say generation, like you said. I mean, there are just you might have to call it the GOATs. You might have to pluralize that now, because like you said, it goes from the generation Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Ivan Koloff, Bruno again, superstar Billy Graham, Bob Backlund. He 5 years as champion, and he carried that company from the late 70s all the way into the Hogan era. He brought Hulk Hogan back on storyline wise. And you go from there, even Iron Sheik. The list goes on, but that's just WWE. What about the Von Erichs?
Bill, you go Lou Thez. I mean, if you want to go back, Antonio Inoki.
Buddy Rogers couldn't have been a nicer guy. You've covered it all, Bill. Wrestling magazines. You educated me as a kid because I was regulated to Northeast programming, which is WWE. I found out what the AWA was, the NWA.
Vern Gagne, Nick Bockwinkel,
and Kurt Hennig when he moved over there.
I'm laughing because Dougie Fresh Richards here put in Abraham Lincoln. And
Yeah.
I want to dispel this. I did not photograph Abraham Lincoln's first match.
Nope. But there are photos of it, right? He's got the dukes up and he's fighting somebody. But my education came from the old internet days of the, they call it the Apter magazines now, which is a great tribute, Bill, because some of these magazines are online. I have a few, and just to see your name in there, cover photo by Bill Apter, and
and they weren't my magazines. I never owned them. I was never the editor.
Stanley Weston was the publisher. Stanley Weston.
Yeah,
right?
but I worked. He was the owner, but I worked with great editors like Stu Sachs, Craig Peters, Dan Shockett, Eddie Elner,
oh my God,
Joe Bua. And
who was the woman? Brandy something.
Brandy Mankiewicz.
Brandy Mankiewicz. When that name popped up in the magazine, I'm like, oh, somebody news in town. So great stuff. I wish they would bring them back, so to speak, because these things are historical. I learned all about professional wrestling through these magazines. As I was saying, I didn't know what the NWA, AWA was, Texas wrestling, West Coast wrestling, and all that. But
we were the internet, Joe. We were the internet before and when people today talk about clickbait, we were print bait.
You were print bait, because that second Tuesday of the month when those magazines came out, I went from my school, whether it was junior high or high school, right to the magazine store to pick them up. And I used to get them fresh right off the shelf. Inside Wrestling, The Wrestler, Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Yeah, but the headlines
and the
were the same as what they are on the internet today.
Okay, Roland Kerr is spending another $1.99. Thank you very much, Roland, again. Who is the most over professional wrestler ever?
Ever.
I mean, could we go generational again?
We could, but the first person that comes to my brain is Ric Flair.
Most over. Okay.
Everybody talks about Ric Flair all the time.
Do you know what I found out yesterday about Ric Flair and the woo? If you type woo in on any social media platform, you have to add the fifth O so you don't trademark infringe that. Did you know that? Yeah. I just found that out.
Do you know where he got the chops from? Where he learned that?
Where did he get where did he learn it from?
Wahoo McDaniel.
Wahoo, the tomahawk, former football NFL.
Yeah, but I want to justify this. When I'm saying Ric Flair, he's the first one that came into my mind, because if you think about all these, Hogan was, forget it. I mean, off the charts.
Yeah, Bruno Sammartino. You ever see Bruno? You've seen Bruno at Madison Square Garden. How over was he back in the day? I mean, you couldn't hear anything when he came out.
Bruno was amazing. Remember, there was no internet back then. It was local TVs, and you'd have 21,000 people at the Garden, and there was no theme music, and they'd all be yelling out, Bruno, Bruno. But it was incredible. Yeah. But again, it's all generational.
Yeah, it is generational. I mean, my first encounter with that was when Bob Backlund came out at the Boston Garden to take on a crazy George the Animal Steele of all people. And Bob Backlund in his beginning days, I'll say 78 to like 82, was the most popular wrestler. Even in your magazines, he was right up there, number one or number two. Bob Backlund for 5 years was huge with the WWE. Well, it was the WWF back then. But, he was over, and when he came out of the runway, and like you said, there's no theme music back then, but when he came out and he popped his head out and people saw him, the crowd would go nuts.
I'm going to disagree about something.
Uh-oh. What are you disagreeing with?
I rarely disagree.
See, my mentor
Bob Backlund was an incredible technical wrestler.
Oh, scientific, right? You have to call it scientific.
Yeah, scientific wrestler. But in terms of a draw, they usually, especially at the Garden, at Madison Square Garden, they usually loaded the cards up with Mil Mascaras, Dusty Rhodes. Yep. So he was great, but he wasn't the draw that the guys who became more of like entertainment were, the guys with the gimmicks.
Okay. I totally agree. I totally agree on that. But tomorrow night, AEW All Out 2024 card. I think that card's pretty stacked. I'm looking at it again. Out of all the matches, the one I'm really looking forward to probably is the MJF versus Daniel Garcia. I think there's a lot at stake there. Storyline wise, there's a lot at stake there. And you're saying the Young Bucks, the EVPs, are going to drop the titles, huh?
I think they're going to lose the belts.
Yeah, you think so? What happens to them when they lose the belts? There's going to be an end game here. Do they go back to being backstage?
They're still part owners of the company. They'll just screw with people, and they're the bosses.
And one thing I do know is that Tony Khan did put a tweet out tonight, or I think like 5 hours ago, that he will have an announcement that'll change the biggest announcement in AEW history. I have a feeling it's got something to do with the TV deal with Warner Brothers and Discovery. Things have been awful quiet, even though he says everything's been good. Do you think there is a TV deal coming with them, or are they going to drop them and move them to a streaming?
Well, no. Listen, they're not going to drop them.
I'm listening.
No. What I'm saying is they're not going to drop them because there are advertisers that are advertising on their show. They could draw 500 people to an arena. They can black out the crowd. The live crowd doesn't matter as much as what the TV does. Advertising and what they're getting paid to stay alive by Warner Brothers and keep that going. It's a TV show.
Right, but it costs money, and if you look at the bottom line, numbers don't lie. AEW's ratings, and I hate to be the spoiler on this, since, I hate to say it, last year when they dropped CM Punk and got fired, 36% is how the difference between the ratings from last year to this year.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
So, that's money, if you want to do that. My gut is telling me, and I really, and I tried to research this. I talked to Brandon Thurston and all that. There is some part of me that feels that maybe Collision and Dynamite might switch nights. They'll reverse it and I think one of those shows is just going to go automatically to a streaming platform with Warner Brothers. I think it's Max that they own. They have the rights to the Max streaming service.
They do.
So I think part of me is
not going to be Dynamite.
Well, I'm just saying, I've heard several stories, they're not confirmed, but a possibility of Collision switching with Dynamite. And I'll be honest with you, Saturday night's Collision, the last couple of months have been off the charts. It's been incredible. They've had great matches and so forth. And it looks like someone says they need Shane McMahon. What do you think about that?
We'll get into that. But, Tony's always coming up with, I have a major announcement.
Right. I know.
So this could be about the signing of the Australia show.
Could be.
Well.
But they already announced that, didn't they? Didn't they?
Yeah, I know. Well, I think that, people have heard it. But see, their whole thing is internationally, outside of the United States, they're doing really, really well. They're doing really, even though they didn't draw like they did in the UK the first time around. Right. They've lost Cody. They lost CM Punk. They don't have one major. I enjoy the shows, but they don't have that one franchise star that when fans are talking about wrestling, when you talk about WWE, you've got 5 or 6 guys that come to mind right away.
I'm sure MJF would disagree with you there because he thinks he is the face of the company, and he kind of is.
Well, he is, but he's not. There's no
There's no.
This is why they're trying to heat him up with Daniel Garcia, because there's nobody for MJF to play with that's on that level.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When you think of AEW, there's no face of the company, and when they put their banners out, it's several faces. Actually, you got Chris Jericho. You got all those guys. I mean, Samoa Joe's been written off TV because he's making a movie and so forth. So, here we go again. Roland Curtis spending more money. Thank you, Roland. $4.99.
Thank you.
Shockingly, you guys ran through so many names for the GOAT, and neither of you said Steve Austin, Stone Cold. Both McMahon and Flair called Austin the GOAT of all eras. Wow. Yeah, we missed that one, huh? Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bill?
No, I had him like second or third on there. I didn't mention him. That's the bottom line, son. No, of course. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, that whole feud that he had with Mr. McMahon was like incredible.
It was
incredible.
That was probably the feud of the Attitude Era. That thing lasted.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right, Roland. We didn't bring him up, but absolutely right.
Because that is a generational thing, because his heyday was 97 to 2001 probably. when his
Somewhere
knee
around
gave
there.
out.
I'm bad
Somewhere
with
around there.
dates.
But 98, 99, 2000, Mr. McMahon feud. Oh my God, that was money. That hospital scene when he sticks the catheter up his anus, hits him with a bedpan because he pretended to be a nurse or a doctor in the room, and that some of the skits they ran were just unbelievable. So thank you, Roland Curtis, for that. Thank you very much. Hey, if you guys want to ask Bill Apter, Hall of Fame wrestling journalist Bill Apter, a question, just hit the super chat button. We'll put it up there, and he will answer that question. So we covered the card for tomorrow night's AEW All Out. My thing with these types of cards, and it's a quick pay-per-view, quick turnaround from their London pay-per-view.
Yes.
I think we might have a major surprise here. I think there's a free agent out there that might make a debut. They always do this. They tease the major announcement. I think someone in here said Tony doesn't know the definition of a major announcement. I think, we have to, I don't know who it is. Somebody is going to arrive in AEW that might change the course of where they're going. And I'm trying to think who's a free agent right now.
Well, let's think who's out there right now who's not under contract. Well, also while we're talking, and I know we smack talked, but we're smack talking about other things.
We're talking smack, yeah.
Were you surprised that Ricochet didn't win the gauntlet match?
Yeah, I put that. My rant, Bill. Remember my rant a couple of weeks ago?
I know.
Newsletter.
Yeah.
They buried him on day one. The biggest debut, the biggest pop of the night went to Ricochet when he debuted.
Yep.
And they bury him in the gauntlet match, and he doesn't win it. People were scratching their heads. What happened? Why would you do this to a guy who has the experience? Why would you do that? Why would you bury Ricochet on night one of his debut? That made zero sense to me. Zero sense.
Yeah, me too. He left WWE because he wasn't being used properly, I think. That's one of the reasons he left. So bring him in and not have him win against somebody on night one. Yep. What's up with that?
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like those Royal Rumble appearances from the old wrestlers or wrestlers that are free agents that come around. They go in the ring, they tangle for a few minutes, they get thrown over, and their biggest pop is their music when it hits. Ricochet comes out, makes his debut, the crowd goes nuts, does his best moves, does his moonsaults and everything, and then he loses. It
he looks great though.
It's great. I went to the Road Dogg, Jesse James, Brian James. We're good friends. He invited me to an NXT show back home, and we went to it. We sat ringside. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano was there. Bianca Belair when she was a rookie. I saw these guys. Ricochet was there, and he was performing moves. This is 2017, 2018. He was doing moves that you see nowadays because he was doing them first. When he came to WWE, he was the first guy to do these moonsaults for a guy. Now you see it every day. We saw
everybody does.
We saw a great leap tonight by Montez Ford over the top rope. He does that move where he spins over on the top rope. That was just absolutely insane. And now it's every day. But back then, Ricochet was the only one doing it. That's why he quickly evolved from NXT up to the main roster. And it did break my heart a little bit on AEW dropping him like that.
Yeah, Ricochet could have been a great luchador too had he put on.
Yeah. I mean, and then there are videos out there now of him and the Young Bucks and Will Ospreay as a tag team match, and they were performing at a VFW hall with like 50 people, and they were doing the moves today that we see, and this is what almost 10 years ago that Ricochet had hair. Believe it or not, Ricochet had hair. So you can find that on social media, but just amazing how AEW is running. Like, Bill, I got to be honest with you. I hate bringing AEW down because they were on fire up until last year. They were very competitive. Ratings were high.
They lost so much talent.
They did. I understand that, but I used to look forward to, like, when I'd watch Dynamite, I'll say even a year ago and going back all the way to their debut. When I watched Dynamite for 2 hours, that 2 hours flew by. Like the amazing matches, the storylines. Something happened in the last 2 years.
I'm going to tell you what's really ticking me off about AEW. And again, I love their shows.
Right.
I have said this on so many shows and in our newsletter as well. what the hell did they do with Wardlow? This guy could have been Batista number 2, part 2. You know what the WWE would have done with this guy?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you right now. I'm going to tell you. It's funny how you mentioned that. Me and Joe Myers, fiance, we're watching SmackDown tonight, and we brought up Wardlow. Where has Wardlow been? And you just mentioned it. So we're on some type of universal thing here. We're thinking about Wardlow. He was very vocal a few months back saying, I'm not being used right. I don't, I'm not on TV. That was maybe a storyline thing, but I think a lot of it was real time stuff. And they got him in the back. I think he's coming to the WWE. I'm just going to say it right now. His contract expires. Yeah, he's WWE. You know who else is WWE material? And
wait, before you go there.
Sure.
The issue with Wardlow in WWE, I was talking with another wrestler about this the other night, is his voice didn't match his body.
Right.
So what I would have done, the logical guy to be his manager would have been Jeff Jarrett.
That would have been perfect.
Can you imagine the heat of Jeff Jarrett being Wardlow's manager?
Yep. I think that's where they're just dropping the ball with him. He's an excellent competitor. He's got the looks. He's got the talent to be a WWE superstar. I think when his contract does expire, he'll move over there. Another guy I think that's not being used right, who is so WWE material and works out with a lot of WWE wrestlers, because there was a video out around WrestleMania time, Brian Cage. I think Brian Cage, he hangs out with Drew McIntyre. They lift weight. They lift together when they're in town together. He's in some of the videos with Drew McIntyre. It's a riot seeing this guy, spotting Drew McIntyre, working out with Drew McIntyre. I honestly think Brian Cage he's one to jump ship and so forth, not being used right. And he's huge. He's a wrestler's wrestler. This guy is built, it's amazing. It's like you said, what's going on? No talent. Like, I don't know.
Wardlow in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna get those pops at the Rumble. That, another person who I think might come back is Matt Cardona. I think I see him making a comeback. AKA Zack Ryder. Everybody knows Zack Ryder. He's a free agent, so look out for him. I think that's a great Royal Rumble appearance. You never know. Like I said, there's a lot of people. The game is changing now, and I hate to put it like that. Free agents are popping up wherever they want to go, whether it's TNA, whether it's WWE, NXT, AEW. It seems like free agents are just popping up wherever they want to go. And I know WWE, it's different. We had the debut this past week of an international sensation. I actually did a short on her, which you can see in my YouTube channel, Ringside, WhattaDay at Ringside on YouTube. Julia is now in the NXT, and I think she's going to change the game for women's wrestling down there. I think that just goes to another level. She confronted Roxanne Perez this past Tuesday night on NXT, so that's going to be huge. October 1st, she's like, I'll see you on CW. That's a couple of weeks away. So look out for Julia. That's like the WWE's big surprise, even though really it's the worst kept secret. But with AEW and TNA, people are popping up left and right. Good friend of mine who just became a good friend of mine, and we'll all figure that out in a week or two. JBL, just going around clotheslining anybody, anywhere. TNA, Mexico, he showed up at. So I don't know.
GCW, he's been all over the place.
GCW. So I asked him, I go, will you pop it up next? He goes, I got some big ones coming up. He won't even tell me. JBL won't even tell me. So
Joe.
Yeah.
We've hit our stride.
The time I do see. Yeah, we're way over. So I guess we'll wrap.
No, we're not. Well, I mean, we're over. That's good.
Yeah, that's good, right? Yeah, okay.
If it's a wrestling term, we're over. That's good.
We're over.
I just want to say how much I enjoyed this, because you and I, like I said, we've known each other forever, and we never did this before.
I can't smile without you, Bill.
Thank you.
I can't smile without you. You're a great man. You are my mentor. You are. Yeah, there you go.
I've got my singing machine right behind me, so next time you and I do guest and do this, we'll go for it.
I would love it. I would love that, Bill. I love working with you. We talk just about every day. We talk, right? We talk every day. You're usually, I send you a Facebook message and you audio record one back. I love it. I love hitting the play button.
I always do that. Where can people find you on social media?
Well, they can find me right here at WhattaDay Joe on Twitter X. You can find me there, and then you have Ringside with WhattaDay Joe Lowry on YouTube. That channel is growing. I can't believe it. I turned this channel back on sometime in the summertime and almost to the monetization zone. I just need a few more views on my YouTube channel. I'm approaching 2,000 followers. Not a big following. I just started this in August. So if you do the math, August to now, it's working out pretty good. I am getting a lot of traction. My shorts are in the thousands of views. It's great.
I don't know if we want to go there, Joe.
Oh yeah, the shorts. My shorts are doing great. Yes. But you head over there. I put a little entertaining into the world of professional wrestling. I kind of put my shorts out as my view, and my view is a lot different than a lot of people. So I think that's what makes it interesting. But I don't want to mention anything, but we do have 2 huge announcements coming up next week on Sportskeeda. You want to stay tuned for that. I think a lot of those announcements hit the airwaves, social media on Monday. So WhattaDay Joe just might be, when you think of Sportskeeda, WhattaDay Joe might be in that sentence. What do you think, Bill?
All right. That's great. So you can follow me. My Twitter is gone from there, but it's at Apter One Wrestling, the number 1 Apter One Wrestling, and Wrestle Binge. I'm on that channel regularly. Yeah. Mac Davis and Teddy Long and I do the Time Machine.
There it is. Apter One Wrestling. Sorry about that.
That is. We do the Time Machine. Dr. Chris Featherstone and I argue weekly live.
Yeah, you guys argue a lot. Yeah, you guys argue a lot on that channel.
We do. We do. He's great, but he's very psychological. He's not your typical wrestling fan. He likes to, as a psychologist, he likes to take everything apart. I'm your ultimate wrestling fan, so we love doing the show together.
That I want to thank everybody who's in the chat. They're having a good time in there. I want to thank everybody who's joined us live. If you're watching on the replay, do the same thing as if you were watching live. Hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda, I suggest you do that. I think that button's down there. I'm looking at it. It's right under my at WhattaDay. Hit that subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. A lot of new programming coming to Sportskeeda, Bill.
Yeah.
A lot of big things.
Yeah. So we're going to, Joe, I'm going to let you do the end part here. We'll see you
at the matches.
You got it.
All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for all of us here at SmackDown, presented by Sportskeeda Wrestle Binge. Hey, if all goes well on their assignment, Rick and Sid should be back next week, but who knows? I want to thank Bill Apter for joining us tonight. Kind of last minute, worked out really great. Dutch Mantel, he had the night off, so they asked us to jump on. So, as always, thank you for watching. Quick reminder, SmackDown returns to the USA Network next Friday. So when you go to Fox next Friday and they're not on, switch it over to USA Network. I'm sure you're going to get inundated because it's premiere week for WWE stuff on USA.
It's going to be great.
And as always, don't forget to follow us on social media. There's our Twitter handles below at WhattaDay Joe on Twitter X and at Apter One Wrestling. Bill's got some good stuff on there as always. But like I like to say, enjoy life and enjoy pro wrestling. I'm Joe Lowry. What a day.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Is wrestling fixed?
I didn't. Oh, my God. You got me on that one. I
didn't.
No.
It was broken.
I didn't know it was broken. That's right.
Right. My book available on Amazon. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Joe Lowry. I'll say it again. What a day.